Injuries are a part of martial arts, although head injuries are rare in BJJ.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's tons of injuries. I mean, it'd be fun for me to just go over all the injuries I've seen, but it's hundreds of different injuries.
They are still major injuries that scar athletes. But most often than not, most injuries that happen in the gym can be 50 to 70% avoided.
But I'm going to say this, around 50 to 70% of the worst injuries I see in this sport are entirely avoidable, okay? We're all mature enough.
Part of it is because of the lack of a strict gym culture that allows grapplers to lose control.
Jiu-Jitsu. And my answer was control.
While training hard is very necessary to replicate the intensity of competition and sparring, it could be detrimental to training partners, and the reason behind the hard sparring could be lost in the heat of the moment. So, should you give in to training hard because of injuries, or should you accept that injuries are just part of the sport? Before I share with you which side you should be on, either to train hard or not, let me show you the reasons behind grapplers training so hard that they hurt their training partner, some accidentally, while others on purpose. When I say on purpose, that doesn't mean the grappler has been scheming or plotting to rip off a teammate's limb. Far from that. It is something that gets the best of even outside the mat. There are 3 ways injuries occur on the mat. Number 1, egocentric grappling. This is why I say some training injuries are on purpose, when your ego takes over the training. Now, you begin to think only about yourself. You don't care what happens to your training partner or what risks you're putting on him because you desperately want to submit them by a flying armbar. Which you just watched on YouTube. Training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu involves the trust and respect of each training partner when exchanging techniques. Attempting to take the arm of your partner home using an undrilled, dangerous, and unexpected technique is a recipe for disaster. Instead, stay conscious.
The more controlled the movement and even the minds of the practitioners of Jiu-Jitsu, the lower the injury rate.
And when you feel you are forcing a technique and trying recklessly to get one over your partner, take a break. Because you can't be strategic when you are not pragmatic.
Of both body and mind is the number 1 focus of your work. Injury rates go down over time.
Number 2, novice grappler. As a white belt, most of your injuries will come during the first 1 to 2 years of training. This is because of a combination of different factors like inexperience, lack of technique, poor timing, and being unfamiliar with moves.
Over the years, I've observed there are a small subset of moves or movements which contribute about 80 to 90% of the catastrophic avoidable injuries you see in a gym at any given time.
Now you start. Yeah, now you're standing.
Right, yeah, you're up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. You're passing right now?
When beginners come to the gym, there must be an instructor constantly watching their rolls. When these beginners roll with an experienced grappler, they should make sure they take it easy on them as they are not yet conversant with the different BJJ techniques. Number 3, just a freak accident.
Okay? We're all mature enough to understand that there's some injuries that are unavoidable. There's things that are just going to happen. It's part of doing jiu-jitsu. It's part of your education.
Sometimes these injuries are just unavoidable, and you just have to deal with them. It could be from accidental head bumps, slippery mats, goofing around with unfamiliar techniques.
Go over a section back and forth. Different directions if you want, it's up to you. To our wet mop stage.
Or just purely training too hard for your own good. Either way, caution is needed so you won't have to spend months on the sidelines, and there is a balance to every side we have to take a closer look at. Yes, you should roll hard, and no, you shouldn't. Let's take it one step at a time. When rolling with a fighter in a competition, they're not going to make it easy for you. So how will you match their intensity if you don't have it? The beautiful thing about martial arts is that there are 2 steps to mastering a technique. One is drilling a technique on a cooperating partner, and the other is perfecting the technique on an opponent who wants no part of it. This is where you begin to see how good your technique is, or will it just fall apart. This is the same with rolling hard. It is a psychological part in training where the high-intensity adrenaline-popping rolls make you think on your feet. This will show you if you can perform those glamorous rolls you've been doing on the mat on a high-volume sparring section. So, instead of trying to catch your breath, like during a workout section, in competition, or hard rolling, you have to match or even surpass the pace of your opponent. This will push us beyond our comfort zone rather than just rolling light. With rolling light, the injuries that come with hard rolling are significantly reduced, if any. This is because rolling at a lighter intensity is not about being competitive or testing one's strength or athleticism. It is focused on testing and fine-tuning techniques and exchanging different positions during rolling. This form of rolling is highly recommended for grapplers aged 35 and older because your body doesn't have the same explosiveness, strength, or athleticism as when you were in your 20s. Although there are days you could have a hard time, maybe once a week or twice a month, ultimately, 35 years and older are better suited to train light and prevent their bodies from injury. Does this mean grapplers in their 20s shouldn't train light? The most common advice given to athletes is that they should work harder, spend a lot of hours on the mat, and go hard in drills. Undeniably, this is what a BJJ athlete must do. But this is just the physical component of BJJ. Although it holds a lot of value, the mental component holds much more value. It is not the number of rounds you roll on each training day or the intensity of your rolling.
Guys, you have to come up. To keep going, you have to keep passing. Come up on leg drag. Go for scrambles. Try to take the back.
It is much more than that. It is an understanding of the hows and whys of each technique. How can the rubber guard help my jiu-jitsu? Why should I learn how to defend leg locks? Giving time to understand and analyze each is extremely important. Instead of tending to your sore muscles after training, learn to take some time out to reflect on your performance during each session. What did you do better today? Where do you have to work on more? Your cardio level? All these also play a key role in your success in BJJ. So, when it comes to light training, younger athletes should also have a time in the week where they train light. You don't have to always wear yourself out every time on the mat, so when it's time for competition, you won't be exhausted from overtraining. Define your balance and stick to it. What is your opinion about training hard? Let's have it in the comment section.